Hello everyone and welcome to Clerks Minute. I'm Blake, bring on my co-host.
I'm Kyle, a fellow minimum wage jockey.
Yes, and we are going to start Clerks Minute, finally, the show where we're going to look back minute by minute on the classic 1994 Kevin Smith movie,
The Shawshank Redemption.
How do I respond to that? We start with the Miramax film logo and ends with Dante falling out of the closet, answering the phone. We'll get to Dante in a few minutes. But first things first, the Miramax film. What do you know about Miramax, Kyle? You know your history with movie studios, so go right ahead.
Well, they started out in the early 80s. Their first noteworthy project was a horror film called The Burning, which I own and I can actually attest is actually very good. Okay. Very good that Bob and Harvey Weinstein actually co-wrote and co-produced. It made a decent amount of money, but not enough to make a sequel. And they actually wound up writing and directing a film for Universal called Playing for Keeps. And then around the early 90s, I believe, they wound up becoming basically the go-to people for indie films. Yes,
so that's where we start off with.
And I believe Clerks was one of their first big hits.
Yes, I believe you're absolutely right. Like I said, we're in 1994. And by the way, just so people know, reference point, I actually have the booklet that came with the Clerks 10 DVD. So there's a lot of cool information that came out of the booklet. Also on the laptop next to me, I have the original Clerks script, which we'll be going to as we go along in the movie. And already right here in the first paragraph, we got shit that we're not even seeing on the screen. So we'll get to that. But before we get to the film itself, the Askew production logo came on, and I forgot how creepy that was.
The music and the animation and, well, everything about it didn't help, but the music especially, because it sounds like something you'd hear in your nightmare.
Well, why don't you explain it for people that have never seen the Askew logo intro?
Well, first, I have to have to do my little impression of the music. Maybe you should actually splice the actual music in here.
I might have to,
because dear God, it sounds like a nightmare set to music. So we see this very, very cheaply animated clown, also known as Vulgar the Clown.
Yes, who comes up again. Isn't Vulgar, isn't there a movie that Brian Johnson did?
Yes, he wrote and directed a film called Vulgar.
Vulgar, that's what I thought. Any name sounded familiar.
It's a very pitch black comedy about a man who works as a birthday clown for kids, and decides to make a little extra money by basically becoming a clown for bachelor parties. Basically, the whole gist is that he would show up at the bachelor party before the actual stripper as a gag, where they would make people think that they had gotten the wrong stripper or whatever,
right,
before the actual stripper shows up. He winds up getting beaten and raped by three men.
Wow.
3 men who
you could tell Brian Johnson wrote that.
Yeah.
By the way, when I say Brian Johnson, I'm talking about Brian Johnson from Comic Book Men. I just want to bring everyone in. That is the same person we're talking about, Brian Johnson from Comic Book Men.
So, after this, and after he makes this long, painful recoup from his depression, he decides to basically do another kids' party, only to find that the kid's father has taken them hostage. So, as somewhat of a suicidal gesture, because basically he has gone and lost it at this point, he goes and actually winds up subduing the kid's father and saves the kid's life, and becomes a local hero to the point where he actually gets his own TV show as Flappy the Clown.
Well, there you go.
Unfortunately, the three guys recorded the rape and are going to basically blackmail him into giving him money by saying that they will re-edit the video and release it as a consensual sex tape.
Wow.
They've basically ruined his career, and thus we get to the Death Wish portion of the film, in which he takes his revenge.
Well, that's I was wondering where that. I never saw the movie, so there you go.
I read about it. I actually want to see it. But yeah, And apparently, the costume that Vulgar wears in the later part of the logo is actually his costume as the prank stripper.
So let's explain the back to the logo that opened up this thing. So you have Vulgar the Clown,
yeah,
and a little boy sitting on the ground. Take a head.
Just playing with this ball, and you can tell it's really looped animation because, quite honestly, the kid honestly looks like he's incredibly spaced out.
It's also 1990s, so keep that in mind.
It's also 1990s, and they had the budget of what about $1.50.
Right.
They probably had a budget for $1.50 for this. So the clown walks over, pats the kid on the head twice in very stiff animation, walks behind a screen, and then the music gets all sexy-like, which is the only sexy thing about this logo, as Vulgar steps out in panties, a garter belt, and high-heeled platform shoes, and winds up walking over and stands with his ass disturbingly close to the kid's face and holds out a clapboard, and then the screen falls over to reveal the words Askew Productions.
Wow.
You can kind of see why this was only used on one film.
Yeah, we're obviously will not be talking about this when we get the Clerks 2. We will not be talking about that.
They replaced it with a much better logo.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get there. But no, sorry, I just popped up and I'm looking for something on the website because I wanted to see if they had the movie on the Smodcast website. And they're celebrating the 20th anniversary of Secret Stash on the website right now, so there you go.
But, oh my god. Oh, it's like a nightmare.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I really did. I haven't watched this movie in a while. And for those wondering, by the way, we're going to do the movie. I didn't rewatch this before we did this. Like, usually a lot of people, they rewatch the movie and then sit and do this. I wanted to go in cold, like we do when we do Retrocast. So I wanted to go in cold and have a little bit more fun with this, because I'm literally reacting to this for the first time in a long, long time. So that's that. And we get to... Okay, let me get to the script, because the script's funny here. Because we cut on the screen, we cut to a dog. Well, here we go. Okay, here we go. Interior, bedroom, early morning hours. A dog sleeps on a neatly made bed. That dog was not sleeping. Not sleeping.
Well, you can't really control the animals like that, so...
A clock reads 20 to 6. By the way, did we see a shelf of books in this thing? 'Cause I didn't see a shelf of books.
I think we'd probably have to...
Well, I have it right here, the list of what Kevin wanted on the shelf.
Yeah.
So here we go. The shelf of books holds such classics as Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. I don't think it shows up, but I think they become the titles of the acts in the movie.
That makes sense. Beyond Good and Evil, The Catcher in the Rye, and The Dark Knight Returns. I am not shocked that there's a Batman reference in here at all.
Wait a minute, no, I don't think so. No, wait a minute, now I think about it, no, they don't become like the titles of acts in there, they actually have words. There's actually a different word in each act relating to something that goes on in the act.
Yeah, we'll go on to that as we go along.
However, if you actually read the chapter listings for Clerks 2, all of the chapter names are book titles that have something to do with...
We'll get there when we get to Clerks 2. That's cool.
Like chapter 1 where the quick stop is on fire, it's called Dante's Inferno.
Well, we'll get to that when we get to Clerks 2.
Yeah.
I'm rewinding to see if we can get to anything on the shelf, but I'll keep reading in here.
Yeah.
A framed diploma, dusty and unkept, hangs askew on the wall. A screenshot of a girl is stuck in the corner, and a bra weighs one end down. A phone suddenly sits quietly on top of a bundle of laundry. It suddenly explodes with a resounding ring once, twice, 3 times.
A lady.
A closet door opens, swings open, and, well, it says a half-clad figure falls out.
But, yeah, you can tell Dante is wearing pajamas.
Yes. A closet door swings... Okay, I said it right. The phone rings... They don't show it. I'm rewinding it. They do not show a bookcase at all.
They didn't have the budget.
Oh, there you go. If I didn't want to pay for the rights. But the phone rings again. The hand falls on the receiver, yanking it off the trash can. The rubble figure lays with its back to the camera. And that's actually where we end our minute.
Yeah.
But we start with Dante.
Yeah.
And what a bizarre way to start this movie.
I'd like to know why he wound up in the closet.
How does that happen when you're living alone? Like,
it's way too easy to make a joke about that, considering the fact they make so many Dante is gay jokes in the...
you know, that might be what it is. That might be where it started. You think about it.
I especially like the headline in the 3rd episode, Gay man saves town.
We will get to all that. I promise. We will get to that stuff. By the way, the opening of the Clerks 10 booklet starts with and you should not be surprised about this if you know Kevin Smith, a 3-page word from Kevin Smith's book, a 3-page thing for Kevin Smith explaining the movie, which I'm not reading, and I'm not going to read it in full. But I was like, of course Kevin would open up his booklet with a 3-page story. Yeah. That should not surprise me. But what I will do, I will read some of these insights as we go along in the early minutes, because a whole lot doesn't happen. So the first one we have in here is, where is this from? Doesn't say where it's from, but it's a review. Sex, fear, retail. He's young, disenfranchised, and he's not even supposed to be there today. He's Dante Hicks. And for the 100th time, he's been called into work on his day off. A double insult, considering he's a clerk at a quick-stop convenience. Of course, together with best friend / worst enemy / neighboring video store clerk. I don't know how that's worded. Yeah. Dante tackles topics and events both surreal, sublime, and stupid. Oh, shit. It keeps going on. I don't want to spoil everything we're going to talk about. But it says, Clerks, a vulgar thinking man's film. The official, that's actually the official description of this movie. Yeah. I like that. I actually really like that a lot.
And apparently the critics did too. At least they found the intelligent part there.
Yes. By the way, I do want to say, what do you think of this movie now looking back in black and white? A very old school person, I know you are.
Very old school, yeah, and it feels, and it basically smacks of we didn't have the budget for color.
Yeah, that is the reason they do this. I've explained on many Kevin Smith podcasts. Many. I say that because he repeats the same stories a lot if you listen to enough of his shows.
Oh, it's kind of like Robert Altman.
Except very, very stoned. I honestly don't think Kevin remembers he tells these stories sometimes over and over again.
Very stoned, and he didn't make MASH.
No, but Kevin is very stoned a lot on his podcast. I do love Kevin's podcast, don't get me wrong, but Smodcast sometimes are hard to listen to because he's very, very stoned. Yeah. He's very stoned listening to that show.
Then again, would you rather listen to him sober?
That's called Babylon. That's called Babylon. So anyway, that's actually where we're going to close here. We'll keep this one short and sweet because not a whole lot happens here.
That's that ultra cheap black and white indie movie feel that I believe actually started with Slacker, which is apparently what he considers to be his inspiration.
Yes, and we'll get more into Brian O'Halloran on our next episode. So that'll be worth it. Be a lot of fun.
And Callie is laying on my cell phone.
Yes, Callie came up here to join us when we started recording. So if you hear him playing with a dog or a dog noises, that's just our dog laying on the bed next to Kyle. Love. So, by the way, for those wondering, this is going to go up on a Thursday. We are not regularly going to be on Thursdays. We're going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I just want to throw that out there. Also, I'll get our stuff out of the way here. You can find the show on Twitter at Clerks Minute, on Instagram at Clerks Minute, on Facebook at Clerks Minute. Also, as debuted when we launched our show back in August, we have T-shirts and merchandise and everything you need to support Clerks Minute. You can go to TeePublic and find the Blake and Sal show, or go to the links associated with this show. Good.
Slacker was shot in different styles, different cameras. There's only one scene in it that's black and white.
That's fine. But anyway, we'll talk more about this tomorrow. And thank you for joining us.
All right. Say goodbye. Say goodnight, Callie. All right. I'm Kyle.
I'm Blake. See you tomorrow.
And we weren't supposed to be here today.
Smoking weed, doing coke, drinking beers, rolling fatties, smoking blunts. Who smokes the blunts? We smoke the blunts, rolling blunts and smoking.